Hi, my name is Lorraine.
Hi, I'm Kathy.
Hi, my name's Ross, and you are listening to
You're listening to
Tameside
Tameside
Voices.
Voices.
Download this podcast for free.
Hi everyone, we're sat here with Jess from the Chronic Room. So Jess, how old was you when you started showing signs?
So I was 12 years old when I started showing signs of endometriosis. I had symptoms from my very first period, but because I was so young and periods were never talked about when I was younger, I just thought that was normal, because you don't really go to your friends and say, oh, I've got, like, is it normal this, is it normal that? I just grew up thinking that it was normal to have this pain, but really it was endometriosis, so yeah, at 12.
Did you not speak to anyone in your family, like, you know, the
My
female side of...
My mum knew I had painful periods, but I don't think, because I was so young, I don't think even I understood the extent of the pain I was in. So even though I was missing school and things like that, we just saw it was period pain, because again, endometriosis wasn't really spoken about back then, free from my mum to think, oh, it might be something more.
Yeah. What does a flare-up look like to you?
A flare-up looks like to me, up to a week in bed. I have to cancel all my plans. It's missing work. I actually lost a job because I ended up spending a year off work. I got a new job, but I almost lost that one because I had so much time off work with flare-ups. But it's not just being in bed, it's being sick, it's not being able to move to even get down the stairs. It's not being able to eat, it's being in pain constantly. It's questioning yourself 24/7 if you need to go to hospital or not. Because even though you're in pain, sometimes even I question, like, really I should be in hospital, but you just ride it out, because sometimes you're more comfy in your own bed than sitting in a plastic chair for 12 hours. So even though in a flare-up really we should be in hospital, I just choose to ride it out. But yeah, it's just like up all night, migraines, being sick, morphine, codeine. I go to my doctors. Every time I'm in a flare-up, I'll tell my doctors, because I worry sometimes as well that when I'm in such a bad flare-up, something else is happening. So I get quite worried that if something's happening in a flare-up that I've not felt before, then maybe something else is going on. But the thing is with endometriosis, once you have it, the doctors will put everything down to that instead of doing other investigations.
So obviously you've mentioned about your flare-ups and everything, and that you just ride it out before, you know, going to hospital. Is there a certain stage in a flare-up, or is there certain things people should look out who have got the same stuff as you, and then be like, right, this is it, I need to phone up hospital, I need to get prepared to go to hospital? Is there any signs that they should look out for?
So last time I ended up in hospital, I had a week off work and I had pain in my back, pain in my hips, I couldn't eat, and morphine wasn't helping. So I left it a week, and then I knew something wasn't right because it was different to my usual pain. So I went to my GP, and they could feel just by touching how tender, like, all my insides were. So they sent me straight to hospital for testing, and then I got kept in, and they said basically all my, like, muscles on my spine, like my pelvic muscles and everything like that, because it was so enlarged and swollen, they was pressing on my spine, which meant I couldn't walk, and that's what was giving me all the burning pain. But I went because it was a different pain to what I was used to. So what I would say is, if you think something's off, or if it's worse than what you're able to handle, then just go.
Okay. Are there any misconceptions about endometriosis that you wish more people understood?
Yeah, that endometriosis is real, and it's not a made-up disease, because there's still so many people out there that will genuinely say endometriosis isn't real, it's in your head. And I think people need to understand, as well as it's real, it's not just period pain, it's a life-altering disease, because it doesn't just affect your periods or when you're on your period, it affects all parts of your body. So your bladder, your bowel, people have got it in the eyes, they found it in the brain, but it affects everywhere. And I've got it on my bladder really bad. To the point where I can spend up to 2 hours a day on the toilet, because my bladder will just never empty because of the amount of endometriosis that's on it.
Okay. How has endometriosis influenced your relationships with whether friendships, families, or romantic?
So I lost a lot of friends when I got poorly because I don't think they could handle that I wasn't able to keep up with them anymore. So I literally went from being a party girl to not being able to do anything overnight, literally overnight.
Yeah.
So I was someone that was going out like 3 times a week, drinking till 4 o'clock in the morning, which obviously isn't good, but that was the life I was living. I was working full time, and then overnight I just got completely poorly, so I could no longer do them things anymore. Instead, it was making doctor's appointments, sitting in A&E, preparing for surgery. So the friendships that I did have with some of who I thought were my closest friends just ended. I have still kept some of the friends that were around then, and for that, them, like, I'll be forever grateful for, because when everyone left, they stayed. And it's definitely changed my relationship with my boyfriend. Even if he said it hasn't, it has. But I think that's because it puts a massive emotional and stressful toll on both of us, because I'm not the same person that I was a year ago. So I'm not the same person that can just make plans. I'm not the same person that can just go on holiday. Everything has to be planned around my flare-ups. Or we'll have plans and then I'll be in a flare-up, so we can't do it anymore. So yeah, I think to be fair, I have said to my boyfriend that if he can't cope with it, he can leave, because I know it's a lot, and I know I'm a lot, especially when things like my mood swings and when I'm poorly, I need like looking after, and it can be a lot. So it's definitely affected friendships. But what I will say on that is, when I created my advocacy pages, I found new friends, and the community of women in the chronic illness community and endometriosis community are some of the nicest girls you will ever meet, because they just get it and they're going through what you're going through, so there's never any judgment.
If you could speak to someone directly, to someone newly diagnosed, what would you want them to know?
Say that all your pain is validated, all your pain is real, you're not alone. There's so many people going through the same thing as you, and all you need to do is look for the right people, and you'll be so supported. And it is just finding the right people to support you, and then once you found them people, you don't feel as alone. And I think that's why me and Georgia created the Chronic Crew, because we are them people. We are them people who get it. We are them people who aren't going to judge, because we have been through it all ourselves. So we want people to come to a space where they can say to us, we've just been diagnosed, and then we can give them the support and advice that they need.
Okay, so obviously with your groups and everything that you're doing, I see it's a lot female based as well. Would you be open up to the idea of having like a male group as well?
Yeah, so we have already talked about this,
Yeah.
and we are wanting males to come along, because obviously chronic illness isn't just female based, it doesn't discriminate against gender.
Yeah.
So there's males that have like Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, fibromyalgia, things like that. So we are wanting males to come and join our group, and I think it would also be good for males to come somewhere where, again, they're not feeling like they're left out of the world, because our group is inclusive to everyone, both
Yeah.
female and male.
No worries. Well, thank you for your time anyway.
Thanks.
Cheers. Hi everyone, we're with Georgia from the Chronic Room. So Georgia, for the listeners who may not know you yet, how would you describe your journey with endometriosis in your own words?
I found it quite life-changing. Obviously, when I found out that I had the stage 4, my life just went from 0 to 100. Like, I went zombified, and my whole lifestyle just changed. I went from a very, very busy woman to someone who was chronically ill in bed 24/7.
Okay. What was your first reaction when you got told about this?
I was shocked, really, because I didn't really know what the name was. So when I went in to see the doctor in December 2024, he told me that I was going in for surgery, and I never even knew what endometriosis was. So when he told me the name, I went home and I Googled and TikToked and everything, looked what endometriosis was. So when I found out, I was actually quite shocked, and I was quite scared, to be honest with you.
And when did you first realise something wasn't right about your body?
I think I sort of knew when I first came on my first period when I was 11, 12 years old. But I think as I was getting older and when I joined the army and stuff like that, my body started getting more and more sore. And I just kept thinking, why am I more sore than all these other people? And no one's taking me seriously.
How does endometriosis shape your day-to-day life, both physically and emotionally?
At the moment, I've just had surgery, so hopefully my life's getting a little bit back to how it was from the start. But in the meantime, like between my first and my second surgery, it literally put me into standstill mode. And I kept trying to push through because I didn't want anyone to know how much pain I was in. So I literally was in bed all the time with morphine, codeine, and just kept within myself. So it messes with you mentally as well.
Yeah. So like obviously before it and everything, was you an active person? You know, work life, family life.
Yeah. So I'm a dog walker and a dog groomer.
Okay.
So obviously when I left the army, because obviously like I said, I never got believed, so I left, and I thought it was just me. So I wanted to stay active. So I did dog walking as well as dog grooming, and then obviously that for me is my happiness.
Yeah.
Because it's like something I built from the ground up, and then for me to keep cancelling on clients and then having to stop dog walking. Like I remember my first dog walk after my first surgery, and I let the dogs out the van and I had to get them all back in within 10 minutes because I physically couldn't walk, and I had to drop them all back home, and I just felt embarrassed.
So financially, how did it set you back as well?
It did send me back quite a bit because personally I'm not really good with money as it is anyway.
I don't think anyone is.
No, so I just think once my bills are paid, I'm happy, I can just do whatever I want.
Yeah.
But obviously bills wise, it was quite hard, and when obviously I went to go and get help off Universal Credit and stuff like that, it was quite hard because they didn't believe me either. So they said because I've got 2 working arms, I should be able to work. Even though I was on high morphine, high codeine, I couldn't get out of bed. I wasn't mentally there, but because both my arms work, I can work.
What strategies or routine help you manage with your day-to-day symptoms?
Well, it's different for different days, because some days you can wake up feeling a little bit all right. Some days you can wake up feeling like you can't get out of bed for hours on end. So for me, before I was waiting for surgery, I used to wake up in the morning. I used to start my day with a bath of hot water bottles. My friend actually bought me a back brace, so when I went out walking, I've always had heat on my back.
Yeah.
I come home, I had codeine all the time, morphine. There's nothing really I could say because everyone's different.
Yeah.
So I couldn't really tell you what to try, because I tried acupuncture, I tried massage, I tried getting in the bath, I tried heat therapy, I tried everything. I tried castor oil, and nothing at the time worked. So I couldn't actually say what would work and what wouldn't.
What message do you hope listeners would take away from your story today?
Just for them not to feel alone. Like if they sit at home and think there's something wrong with me and no one's listening, I want them to feel like we're listening, me and Jess. And if they have any questions, they can ask us. And if they feel like something's not right, hound your doctors. Like, don't take no for an answer and just keep going in.
Okay. And also the last question, when is your chronic room open? Where is it? Like locations and time-wise?
So location is at the Snipe Pub at the moment.
Yeah.
We have it here. We're going to try and have it every other Saturday.
Yeah.
Just to get everyone involved. And it's not just for our illness, it's for every other illness as well.
Okay.
And we're also trying to do a Beyond the Room once a month to get us out of the meetings and just get us out doing stuff and bonding together. And it's just for chronic people only, so we can all have a laugh and a joke together, so you don't feel separated from the world, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Couldn't find the word.
Well, thank you for your time anyway.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Download this podcast for free